Good morning, it's Saturday and welcome to Sabah's Way of Life. So this video I want to have a little discussion and share some thoughts with you, and then I'm just going to for 5 minutes show you what I'm doing in the kitchen today, and also just give you an update on what's happening in the garden, or at least what I'm doing. It's been quite a difficult 2 weeks, and I think a lot of people are going through this at the moment because we had the equinox recently. To underestimate how the energy changes at that time. It actually shifts from up to down, down to up. And those of you listening to the Cellular Awakening book reading that I'm doing, and I started last week, will understand why as I go through that book reading. But as a result of all these shifts that are happening in energy, it's affecting the minds of people, the health will obviously be affected, which is why you must look after it and be prepared for the winter. And this is when depression sets in. It's not as if we don't already have it at the moment. Depression is massive. But you see, depression is a state of mind, and this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to discuss with you. Look, I'm not suggesting for a minute that I have all the answers. What I am suggesting to you is that I'm not in that position. And when I get into a down position, I've learned how to deal with it and to understand where it's coming from. Now, a lot of what I say is going to be repeated, but it doesn't matter. It's very important. Every choice that we make in life is key, because that determines the outcome later. And if you want that to be a positive or a negative outcome, I don't even want to say good or bad. There isn't a good or bad. Listen carefully here. It is all determined by the frequency which we live at. There is a bandwidth, and there are bandwidths that are aligned to the laws of nature, to not natural law as you read about. Wording is very important. The laws of nature are the laws of nature. They haven't been written by a human being or any being. They were always there. It's just a known truth. There's no debate there. That's something that if you want to truly understand, you would study a little bit more about metaphysics and that kind of area. Lots of sources there. But for now, forget that. There is the law of nature. It's a bandwidth. And then there is another bandwidth which is aligned to a different frequency, which you could say, well, it's a very negative frequency, and it's probably a negative, very high frequency, which is what the vast majority of human beings are living at. And that stems from external distraction and influences. I'm trying to make it as simple as I can. So every external influence is a noise. It's a noise that's within us. You've got the television, you've got media, you've got devices, you've got the radio, you've got the people around you who themselves are distracted and then are distracting you and is going into your brain, right? You've got the food. The food has its own noise. Understand the metaphor behind it. So if you're eating food-like substances, which the majority are, that's creating a noise in your body that's blocking your ability to connect to the frequency of the divine. The divine is not a religion. The divine is, how can I explain it? In my words, the divine is our natural ability to go beyond, to transcend what we perceive as the truth, or even our own limitations. It's beyond reality, right? So go back to what I said, all the noise that's coming into you from all of these sources, even the wrong books, even books, is you need to be aware. You need to be aware of this. The awareness is really important. That stops your cells connecting to a different source. So what do you need to do? The first thing is, the goal, if you think about it, is to live from that positive high frequency connected to universal wisdom. Because we are subatomic beings. Our cells are subatomic. Listen to Cellular Awakening. The more I read it, the more you'll realize and recognize. It's just one book of many, but she explains it in very simple language, Barbara Wren. But see, when you're connected to the correct frequency, in order to do that, you must look after your vessel. This is your body. So it's not just about what you eat. It's yes, food is important. Sun is important. Oxygen is important. The time you sleep, all of those things matter so much. And when they're all done in unison, your cells are vibrating, energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla. You've got to study it in detail to experience it. Your energy, your cells are healthy. Healthy cells behave in a certain way in the body with all of the influences they get from outside, but without any distraction, noise. And when you understand the power that has, that when you make choices, they come from the right source, they're nearly always the right decisions to make. And because the consequences will eventually prove that. Every choice you make, there is a consequence. There's an equal and opposite consequence. This statement is written in the Bible. It's written in the Quran, and it's written in Siddha, in Unani medicine. It's also because healing medicine and universal wisdom are all entwined. They're not separate. It's written in the Vedas. It's written in Buddha. The Buddhists knew this. It's an understanding, and you can't explain it. Nobody can explain true metaphysics because it's a study of the real, and it's not rational. There's no logic and reason, because reason is a great tool. This is something I read in when I was watching something from Dr. Harry Oldmeadow, who studies perennial metaphysicians, Frithron Schuon. I put a lot about Frithron Schuon in my stories yesterday or the day before in Instagram. But what was I saying? Metaphysics is a study of the real. And that's not something that's, I was talking about logic and reason. Logic and reason is a very, very great tool to have, and it helps us. But it is simply a slave. It is not our master. Our master is our own connection, which is beyond reason. We are living in times today, and I'm speaking to people, you see, all the time, who are not at peace. I've just had a conversation, 3 or 4 conversations this week. One very recently with somebody who's quite close and a sort of not a direct member of the family, indirect, who has told me that, he's making decisions based on anger around what's happening in our country, in the UK. And that is not the place to make decisions. Be aware of what's happening around us, and then be aware of it. Don't embrace it into your heart and dance with it. Just know it's there. But ultimately, once you detach, once you recognize that there is something bigger than you that is on your side, it's a form of surrender. It is surrender. Then the universal dance will work for you, because it's steeped in love. understand which love I mean. Nature's law is love. And love will always prevail if you allow and let go. This is why I say that the people that you're around matter. Make them pure people, pure of heart, people who are honest and really live in true integrity. It's very hard to pull yourself away. Your environment is very important. I'm going to keep repeating this. If you take the environment of Dubai, I'm saying that because I live there and I've got family that lives there. It is probably the most negative high frequency environment that I have noticed the change. The whole character of an individual changes. When I lived there for 8 years, on and off, I changed. It's a frequency and it pulls you. And you become the nature of that you don't, other people. I have seen the difference in the whole character and being of individuals that I love who've been in that environment. But again, it's a choice. Can't blame it just on the environment. How strong are you? If you are weak, you will be contained by that environment. And it's a slippery slope. Work on yourself. Work on your healing within you, and then connect to universal source, and it has the most miraculous effect. As I've said before, not just on yourself, but on all the people around you, and that particular vibration will literally filter like this, that energy for miles around you and overseas. Spend time in nature. Spend a lot of time in nature every day. You've got to keep moving your body. The body is important because the blood needs to move. But you've got to start with these things. It's a way of life. And this is what this channel is entitled. Saba Jackson, A Way of Life. It's so difficult to explain, but I'll keep trying. And as I read this book, I'm going to read the second reading tonight because I've got a busy few days coming up. So I'll post this and then that tonight on YouTube. I just do what I can when I can. I've been putting a lot of stuff up on Instagram stories, which again, everything I put up is not to serve me. Oh, look at me. It's not self-obsessed. That's the disease of society. It's to serve you. So when you think it's not if it doesn't resonate with you, then leave it, and then this channel won't resonate with you. That's fine. Or if you don't like Instagram, that's fine too. But what I'm saying, everything I post, really, it's such valuable knowledge that would help you to discover who you are. Everything, whether it's a farm, whether it's milk, whether it's a book, and also to all of you who want to help others with your knowledge, just share it, because when you're sharing from a place within your heart of love, somebody out there, even if it's one person, it is affecting their life for the positive. You'll find a lot of people that you're sharing to that don't say anything or don't speak. They are the ones whose lives you're affecting positively. Could just be one or two. That is so meaningful if you've changed one person's life. So don't be afraid to speak out when it comes from the right place, because we are now bombarded with so much mold, noisy mold, parasitic mold that's destroying our loved ones, destroying the young generation. Get them off media, please. Get them off of it. And this mold is psychologically disturbed. All these new words that have come out, delusional disorder, it's actually a disorder. You have compulsive liars, but you also have pathological liars. I'm dealing with one at the moment. Pathological liars, where their brain chemistry has changed, that they believe in their own lies. These are not human people anymore. They're lost. You just observe in awe. these people, you do not want to have yourself or your young children get into that state. You've got to remove them from the distraction and the noise and teach them how to connect with universal law. This is so important. Now, what I'm going to do is take you in, because the video will be too long and it will suddenly disconnect if I don't have enough gigabyte space. But I'm going to take you, switch this round if I can, take you into my really messy kitchen. But I just want to share a couple of things with you. So what I'm doing, I've got a busy week ahead, and I've decided that I'm going to make some lentils. And over here, I've got the orange, they're called Masoor lentils, and I've mixed them with some green lentils. I was speaking to my mum yesterday, and before I explain what she said, by the way, this was only a handful. I've put water in it, a good quality filtered water, because it has to soak to remove all the impurities and the defense mechanism of the lentils, which affect digestion when people eat legumes. So you've got to really soak it and then throw out the water and then wash it really well to get the benefit of the proteins within it. But my mum was saying that these orange Masoor lentils, we were talking about eyes, she said are really very good for the eyes, as are carrots. And I thought, you know what, Mum? Because she said when we were young, we used to eat this and get fed this to help our eye health, you know. And of course, it's the orange. It's got to do, I don't know what the ingredient is that's within carrots and in this. But I thought, yeah, I'm going to start eating more of these lentils as long as my tummy can accept it. So I'm soaking these, and then I'm going to wash them carefully. Then I'll put them on to cook on low with herbs and spices within. And then I put a lovely onion and ghee fried baghar over the top. It's beautiful. So that's this today. I've also taken out some mutton mince. You can see here out of the freezer. It's a little bit bloody, but that's what you would expect. And I'm going to cook a very simple mince and runner bean or French bean curry, because these are from the garden. I've got French beans, some from my garden, some from my sister-in-law's garden, or I might put runner beans in, we'll see, but likely French beans. So those two, and I'm going to make some chapatis. The other thing I wanted to share with you is this green juice. It's kind of gone into layers. I drank every day. I'll drink this green juice, and it's got 3 layers there. That's just probably because that's how it's settled. You've probably got the green, super green powder at the bottom. That might be the carrot part, and that might be the cucumber. So in there, what I've got a super green powder. I use athletic greens. Somebody was asking me, you don't have to use that. It is expensive for most people to think that, but then I don't spend my money on nonsense like mainstream shop Costa and a Starbucks, definitely not. It's poison, yeah. Let's put aside who they support, for example, but I don't want to put poison in my body for the same reasons I explained earlier, that you want purity inside you so you can connect to source and realize your human potential. Every word I say is so important. Super greens, I use athletic greens. Then I add a piece of ginger. I add lemon juice. I squeeze lemon juice into it. And today, 1 cucumber. I use these cucumbers here. These are loose cucumbers that I get from the local greengrocer. I avoid the ones in plastic. I put a whole cucumber into the blender. I've got one of these NutriBullets. And I also this morning put a carrot in as well. The carrot's sweet, probably not the best thing to do because you shouldn't be having sweet juices. They just raise your blood sugar level. But when you've got it with super greens and cucumber, I'm also going to add other things like nettle leaves. That's not a fad. Oh, it's nettle. No. Study it. Nettles are so nutritious if you can get them from where you're foraging in the wild, because their roots go very, very deep into the soil. So the roots are dancing and being nurtured by the billions of minerals and vitamins and the microorganisms inside the soil. And they're dark green. So get your gloves on, pick the nettles, But as soon as you wash them and put them into cook for a little bit, or even in juices, it won't have that effect. But you'll get the benefit of all those vitamins, minerals and microorganisms. It's all about that, so that your cells are dancing in balance, the right pH. You're alkalizing your body. That's how it works. It's understanding it from a cellular perspective. So that is going to be today. These are some chestnuts that I picked yesterday while I was foraging. I did put some stories up in Instagram. I think they're gone now. But I'm probably, if I get a chance today, I'm going to go over to the country park and find some more. I'll have to go in the thickets and get my gloves because the shells are very spiky. And then I'll prick these. I've done this last year. I had huge amounts last year, good harvest. I'll prick all these and then I will roast them. I've forgotten the method I used, but I'll go back and find it. I always save my video. Always save your videos. When you find something good on a recipe, save them somewhere or write them down, even better. And last but not least, I want to share this. I've got this bike, and this was given to me by my sister-in-law. She's already got another one, and she said, do you want this workout bike? I've got no space, but I made space for it. It faces the garden. And started cycling every day. Now, here's the thing. This is important as well. I used to go to spin classes religiously, and I love my spin classes. But you know what? The times of the spin classes were not always conducive to what I wanted. So I thought to myself, the only good thing about spin classes there was the fact that I'm with others, and that motivated me. But what I've kind of realised, there's nothing wrong in that. It's great. If you can do it, do it. But actually, the people that are there really don't have the frequency that I need in my life at the moment. So I'm not missing that. The instructor is great, but I've learned so much from this instructor that I know now how to create my own sessions and what works, because I've learned from others. The other thing that's really important here is that I have to break that barrier of motivating myself, and I'm going to do it. I've got this bike, I'm going to sit on it, and I'm going to do it. So what I did is I made a decision, and last night I write everything down, and I thought, I know this was my way to start. I know the class is running at 9 o'clock this morning on a Saturday. I'm not going there, but I'm going to be on my bike at 9, 10 minutes stretching before, which is what I used to do at the gym. I'm going to get on the bike. I got on YouTube. I got a spin music video out because that kind of boosts you, gets the adrenaline going. I put it on and I imagined in my head that it was my spin tutor talking through, because I've been going for years, what she said, and I did it myself. And I didn't do it for a whole hour. You don't need to. I just did it for 20 minutes or even 15. Key is I got off that bike and I was out of breath. Now, as I keep doing this every day for a small amount of time, because it's almost like high intensity, well, it is high intensity interval training. And even in the day, I might go back, or I will at 5 o'clock, because our circadian clock states that our strength and CV strength, cardiovascular and strength, is highest at 5 o'clock. If you sleep at the right times and get up at the right times. So I'll be on there again. And this time I'll be doing push-ups, which we used to do in class, on the bike, on a very high resistance, and then you go to the top, you put your head over the top of the bike and you go up and down, and works all of your core. So I'm now challenging myself to conquer that. I need to be at the gym to motivate myself. I've got the tool, and that's where we're lucky. So you don't even need the bike. There's so many other things you can do. You can cycle, you can get a bar, you can get weights, but program your mind. That's the key. And that will pull you out of this horrible depression thing they call it. It's everything. The right people around you, family, so important. If you've got a good family, they don't have to agree with you, but they love you. It's the love that's important. I'm really ranting today, but it's important. I've got a family that I love, and I know they love me. I know they've got my back. They don't want anything from me. They're not after anything. Yeah. You really got to think about this. Something inside you knows the truth. I eat the right foods. I sleep at the right time, get up at the right times. I have challenges. I step back and learn how to negotiate and not react anymore. It's hard, but I've learned to let go. I've learned to pray. I've learned to cook beautifully. I've learned to share with you. That's what you want to focus on. Take all the attention away from yourself and think about how you can serve others. Serve others. Serve others. Then by doing that, you're serving yourself and you will empower yourself. You matter. We're so lucky to be alive and here. We matter. We're so lucky. Connect to the right source, otherwise you will forever be a slave. And this is not attached to money. You would find that so many millions of enslaved people have all the money because the money is their master and they are the slaves and they don't even know it. It is a tool to use to help you fulfill your real potential, which is about being here to teach and serve others. That's our potential. Learn, find out what that is. Otherwise, you are a slave and you will attract people who are slaves themselves. You will always attract what you are. Don't take that literally, it's metaphoric. You will always attract people that are dancing on that frequency. Be very careful. Who are they? What have they done to help society? What have they done to help themselves? Ask yourself these questions all the time. And above all, protect your children because they are our future. Have a lovely day. Somebody's on my door. Speak soon. Bye-bye.